Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of these unceded lands and airwaves where this conversation takes place. Land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally, and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and rising. Today I'm talking to Scott Lord at Moonhouse. Scott was born in Dunedin in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and knew from a young age that he wanted to pursue hospitality as a career. After a few years of working under various chefs, he joined the multi-award-winning restaurant Pier 24 as Chef de Partie, working alongside Michael Coughlin at the St Clair eatery. When Scott and his wife moved to Melbourne in 2015, he secured the role of Chef de Partie at Cumulus Inc, before joining Commune Group's modern Japanese restaurant Tokyo Tina as head chef for 2 years. He then joined the Sunda Dining family as sous chef before returning to the Commune Group to take on the head chef role at New Quarter, changing its offering to focus on Neo-Vietnamese and bringing in his modern interpretation of some favourite Vietnamese hits such as banh mi finger, beef tartare and duck floss noodles. Last year, Scott jumped to Balaclava to help launch Moonhouse, bringing Chinese cuisine to a bistro setting. And his commitment to the restaurant group saw him quickly promoted to executive chef of New Quarter and Moonhouse. I met Scott at Moonhouse on a Monday when the restaurant is closed, but he lit the fire upstairs and we sat in the beautiful Art Deco curve of the building on a table positioned under a beautiful chandelier. Scott is calm and articulate, and it's easy to see why he's risen through the ranks of a top Melbourne hospo group so quickly. He cares about his team, loves the food, and is super aware of the diner's experience. Moonhouse should definitely be on your list of places to go. Good, thank you. Yeah, how things going for you? Oh. Hello, Keith.
Where are you from?
I'm from Christchurch.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. Spent a little bit of time in Otago when I briefly taught at uni in the French department just for a term. But
Right. Cool. Just keep going around.
wow,
Yeah, I love the floss. It's nice. It's my favourite.
nice. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so lovely with the
So nice, isn't it?
light feature and the curves.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can sit down here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in on your day off.
That's-
Do you have day off? Do you come in anyway?
Monday's my admin day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I usually just get my week aligned on a Monday and then figure out what I'm doing for the week and reassess, and then that's basically my Mondays.
Yeah. So how does it feel being executive chef?
How's it feel?
Feels big to me.
I think it comes with like a lot of responsibility. So just been a lot of, like, I've obviously been in the head chef role a couple of times, like at Tokyo Tina and New Quarter. So I sort of know what's expected of me from a head chef perspective, but more or less like the perspective of the owners and the other executive chef, what's required of me, has been a bit of a transition. Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I think with this role as well, it's more numbers and understanding how the business works as a whole, and what's required of me. Yeah.
Do you still get on the pans?
Yes, absolutely. I love jumping into sections. And I think it's nice when you're heading like Excel for a whole day, and then you go into the kitchen, and then you sort of realise what it's all about again. You're like, oh, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. And I guess putting something to the numbers, bringing the numbers to life in a way, because you wouldn't have the numbers if you didn't have the food,
exactly.
I suppose, and the guests. So
Yeah, it was nice to connect the two, but at the same time, it's really nice to see the customers enjoying themselves, and just that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And how long has Moonhouse been open now? It's a while.
It's been about a year.
Yeah, gosh, a year already.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how it flies. I think we had first birthday. It's pretty crazy how fast time's flown. I think it's just those lockdowns. After those lockdowns, everything just feels fast now.
Yeah, that's right. And it was a big opening. I mean, do you think there was a lot of expectation on you or on the group to produce I don't know. I felt felt like such a fanfare. Maybe because I also, I write for Broadsheet and so on as well. But I feel like I saw Moonhouse everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere. The marketing was pretty strong on it, and I think it's like such a beautiful building that it sort of, deserves really good food.
Yeah.
And I think for us to like produce that and make it consistent has been a bit of a challenge at the start. But now we've sort of changed the menu. The way the menu has completely changed. So it's more like bistro-y vibe now. So it's almost like Cantonese bistro. Everything's plated like really linear, and like the flavors are brought in from like different Chinese flavors instead of Chinese at its core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so not really banquet style as such, or
it's still sharing menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's it's more accessible. I think that's more about Balaclava and sort of suiting this environment as well. Is sort of we've taken on board what people want from us around this area.
That's cool.
And now we're in a good spot.
Yeah, because I saw on the wall Cantonese with Balaclava feel or vibe or whatever it was, and I was going to ask you about that. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because it is a grand building, and the street has got so much personality. When I first moved to Melbourne, I lived in Elwood, and so I spent a lot of time over this side of town, and now I'm north side. But there is quite a strong character, and the people do know what they want over here too. So
yeah.
So give me some examples of some of that food then.
I'd say like a really good dish. One of my favourites on the menus at the moment is the chicken. So it's more based around kung pao like seasoning, and we basically get a chicken in, we brine it overnight, and then we break it down in the morning, and then we hang it, and then we hang it for 2 days, and then we cut it down into half portions, and then basically the bone, when we debone it, we keep just the drumstick in, so it's technically boneless, and then we just put it in a cold pan and then render out the skin so it's nice and crispy.
Yeah.
And then obviously the flavour's all in the sauce. So the sauce is double chicken stock, and then the kung pao seasoning is split with it, and then just seasoned with a lot of kombu and pepper.
Wow.
But yeah, the Szechuan pepper comes through it as well. So it's quite a clever chicken dish where it's just simple, but it's tasty.
And at what point in your career did you start heading towards more Asian-inspired food, or I know there's Tokyo Tina and
Yeah, so I think I was at Cumulus, and I love the flavours at Cumulus. It's very simple, but really, really good produce, and they focus on that. But I almost get bored of there's no chili, or there's no kombus, or there's not enough kick for me. Yeah. So that was just eating around as well, so many restaurants in Melbourne that you go to, and you're like, oh man, that chili that made that dish next level, or this stuff that's stuck in my brain for years, and then later on you come back to it and you're like, oh, might make that I had 8 years ago,
Yeah.
But I think it was probably the turning point was when I moved to Tokyo Tina, and then I started dabbling in ramens and how they season ramens, and that kind of appealed to me that, they got dashis and you got sesame pastes, and it's just a whole different paint box of flavours that you play with. So from Tokyo Tina, I was hooked on Asian food, and then moving to Sunda with working with Khan was just took it up another level. His seasoning was just next level, and just his whole ideology of the whole dishes were amazing.
Oh, his flavour repertoire, it must be, I don't know if you could, distill him to some kind of library, accessible, I don't even know. He's just incredible, isn't he?
He is incredible, yeah. Really good chef.
Yeah. So how long were you at Sunda?
A year and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the Commune Group.
Yeah, so I went and at that point I moved to New Quarter, and we went through a rebranding of going from Hanoi Hana New Quarter to just New Quarter. And that process was just stripping the whole menu, obviously dishing the whole menu and just refining it, making it a bit nicer. But also, Richmond needs to be accessible. It needs to be so many venues to so many different people. You got people before footy that come in for a quick bite. You got the general lunch trade that come in for a quick bite during lunch. But then you got the boozy lunches that last 4 hours sort of situation.
Yeah. And
then you might have the Sunday afternoon or whatever. So it needs to be so many things to different people. And that's what I like about Richmond.
Yeah. So I read in your bio that you've always been interested in food. How did that start in Dunedin?
In Dunedin?
I don't mean to say it like that in Dunedin. I don't mean it like that at all, because I reckon New Zealand's come a long way in food in the last 20 or so years. So I don't know why it came out like that.
I think for me it was it was a high school thing. There was a point in my career where I was tossing up between horticulture and going to work, and I actually worked on some orchards in Central Otago. As a bird scarer, but at the same time I got an understanding of like how much hard work it was to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time I was doing a gateway course at my high school, going into like university kitchens, because Dunedin's a very heavy university city. I wouldn't call it a city, township, but it's at the same time it's a lot of people. You're feeding thousands of people, and just the vibe of like just people working together, I think that was got me. Whereas like orchard work's very lonely, and so I need that connection between people, and that's what I really enjoy. So I think that's what got me hooked initially, and then as I started working with food and understanding recipes and stuff like that, it becomes an addiction. So and many chefs say that too. It's an addiction. It really is, and you come out of the kitchen for a bit and you sort of miss the feel of it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah,
so I think that's what got me hooked, and then my career really kicked off, I guess, when I started working for Michael Coughlin at Pier 24. And I know, you've talked to Connor Pomeroy before from Carter Wine Room, and he's on the wavelength as I. Like, we sort of worked together there, and then, moved over to Melbourne. Yeah.
And how was it when had you visited Melbourne before? Were you aware of that? Oh, you just came.
Yeah. I think at that point my wife got she's a nurse, so she got a role at the Alfred Hospital, and I was like, look, we can either go to Christchurch, Dunedin or Melbourne, and we chose Melbourne, and we didn't know anyone here, so I think the first 6 months was very difficult for us, but after we got past that point, it became home, and then we don't look back, to be honest.
It was 2015.
Yeah.
That's you've done a lot since then. That's 8 years. That's amazing. It's impressive.
Yes.
With the big Melbourne groups, I feel like Melbourne is such a city that's known for its food and so on, and there are some big names there, and you're working for them.
It's nice. I think like as you support yourself around really talented people, you'll do well. Yeah.
And how do you continue to learn? Because it sounds like you are someone who is always keen to know more, and you really love what you're doing. So do you look at books? Do you look at what other people are doing?
I think I'm a combination. I get inspired through past experiences, like dining out for dinner. I'll get inspired by a dish or a technique that gets me going, and then I'll read some cookbooks on my days off. And I think it's more like just something will trigger in me, or even Instagram's a massive power for all of us. It's a big trigger, but you've got to be careful how much you look at of that, because you do start to find a trend. But I think it's just
or the trend finds you, and
or the trend finds you, exactly. So
and I guess too, now that you are high up and you're overseeing other people, you would have had this in your head chef role as well. What is your leadership style? How do you manage the people who you're working with, and do you feel pressured in that role?
I think sometimes, I have a really, really strong head chefs around me, so it makes my job a lot easier. So down at New Quarter, we've got Lee. He's amazing, really operationally strong. And then you got Nabil at Firebird, and then Chris Can here. So between the three of them, if their teams are fully loaded, and it's all about depth and hiring the right people, but also training those people makes my job a lot easier. So as long as they're all fine, I can focus on bigger things, and really getting those 1%ers what we can do, and keep the business driving forward, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing. And do things like reviews and things, do you pay any attention to those?
Obviously. I think reviews are quite important. They are really important. As for a guest is paying coming here, and they have an expectation, and if you're not meeting them, you will not survive in Melbourne. That's the short of it. So I think every Monday, this is my Monday, I'll probably look at reviews for last week, and I go through them and I find any consistencies. So if there's someone that says the dumplings here were a bit meh, then I'll be like, okay, that's come up once. That might have been just a mistake on the chef's half, or has it happened twice? Has it happened 3 times?
Yeah.
It seems to be a common thing. If it's happened 3 times, something's wrong. So
Yeah.
they are very important for consistency and keeping us on the toes really.
Yeah, everyone's a critic these days, aren't they? So I guess it is important to look for the consistent things the markers that are coming out, rather than it can be a subjective experience coming into a restaurant as well.
Yeah. I'd say the hardest thing for chefs though is reading a review that you've tried really hard for the week and you thought you'd done an amazing job. Then you read a review and it might have someone takes out of it and you're like, oh man, like it's kind of defeating. But you just got to bounce back and just carry on. You just got to think about the other 800 people that came that week and really enjoyed themselves. So,
exactly right. That's it. Yeah. And seasonally, I suppose you're using local produce and so on for a Cantonese inspired menu.
Yeah. So, we sort of use our main suppliers are all Melbourne based.
Yeah.
I'd say the only one that's not really Melbourne based is Top Cut that gets from New South Wales, but I mean everything's Australian. Yeah. So obviously there's some Asian products that we have to import, but our core meats, all our fish, etc. is from Australia and Melbourne. Yeah. So we have to put a focus, absolutely, but especially the way like the economy's going, you sort of got to go with it.
Yeah, that's right. And do you change the menu every so often, or are you tied into a few signature dishes?
We have definitely got signatures around the group. The beef tartare at New Quarter and the banh finger here. The wontons, for example. There's certain dishes that you will never take off because your customers will kick up a storm. But at the same time, as we have 3 to 4 menu changes a year. And they can be quite substantial too, just tweaks. It depends on what's happening with the menus and where they're at. Also, like the past 3 or 4 months, we've had to change pretty quickly. So, bringing our printing in-house has been a big, thing for us.
Oh, yep.
And just being able to quickly change those menus.
Yeah, I think it is something. It's something it reminded me of talking to chefs in hotels where they always have to keep things pretty much the same. They're saying how agile restaurant chefs have to be, and I guess as you're saying, especially in this current climate where things aren't always accessible, or the price point's not accessible, you probably do have to be quite flexible with what you're putting up. 100%. Yeah. And what's the yum cha about?
This yum cha at Moonhouse, it's very busy. That's all I can say. But basically, there's 2 concepts at Moonhouse. There's the dinner menu. Also has where we're sitting up now is the bar cocktail area, joint with the private dining space. Yeah. And on a weekend, if it isn't booked out for a private function, we'll actually open this up to tables of 2s and 3s, or just people interested for a cocktail, but also seat some people in the main dining area for a la carte, and also downstairs. So. Yeah, you have the a la carte menu that runs, Monday to Friday and Saturday night and Sunday night. But then you also have your yum cha menu that just works on Saturday, Sunday lunches. And it's just 12 items. So you smash through 12 items. And then as soon as you hit those 12 items and you want more, just order more. And that keeps coming, for as much as food as you want, really.
Amazing. Is there a fireplace downstairs as well?
No fireplace downstairs.
I reckon this is the place to be then.
This is the spot, yeah.
It's so beautiful, especially in this beautiful curved table under a chandelier. I love it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
So you've had a few different experiences and you've certainly worked your way up through the ranks. What would your advice be to a young person who was thinking about becoming a chef?
I think a lot of chefs, from my knowledge now, is that when you're younger, just absorb information, don't care about pay rates. If you really want to do really well, you've got to just put your head down and absorb, be like a sponge and just absorb things around you. And if you start getting stale in a workplace, move. Because, you're going to start resenting things around you and you'll resent people. But I think, as soon as you got as much knowledge as you possibly can out of that one workplace, keep moving. Because if you're not, it's not learning, right? So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat and you can become a subscriber, which of course you probably would want to do because then you know when the new stories are up. That's at www.conversationwithachef.com. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats, and you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts, and then I know that you're there. But thanks for listening today and have a wonderful day.